Hi everyone, this is KEITARO HARADA, Music and Artistic Director of your Savannah Philharmonic. And today we are doing an interview with the musician extraordinaire, composer, and I like to call him the music man of Savannah. This is Robin Beauchamp.
Hey everybody.
So many of you who are living in Savannah may know Robin from various activities that he has done, but I'm going to let Robin tell us just a little bit of how you ended up in Savannah and what you've been doing here.
Well, I came in 1985. I was teaching at Savannah Country Day School, and I was actually fairly quickly started writing for the Savannah Symphony at the time, doing pops arrangements and such, and I played per service with the symphony as well. And then about 23 years ago, I joined SCAD, and I started this program called Sound Design, which is specifically training audio students to do work in film, television, and video games. And we're the first of the kind in the world. So that was an exciting thing to be able to build from the ground up. And you were sitting on our mix stage. This is a Dolby Atmos mix stage for a Hollywood level mix stage. And our students get certified on a variety of levels of equipment, and they're working. I think if you've seen the film Devotion this year, all the sound was done by our students.
That's exciting. So, lots of expensive equipment behind us.
Very expensive.
So I've known the name Robin Beauchamp before I even came to Savannah because of his arrangements for his pop orchestral arrangements that have been played everywhere. And so I've known this name for a very long time. And when I came to Savannah for the first time, Robin introduced me to him, introduced himself to me, and then he said Robin Beauchamp, and I'm like, Robin Beauchamp, the arranger? And then so that's how we connected finally. And since then, since our first encounter, I think I've wasted 0 minute in asking you to write arrangements and songs for us.
It's been awesome. I've loved every minute of it.
Yeah, and so we have at Savannah Philharmonic, since I've been here, have been playing a lot of his arrangements. But as a composer, you know, writing arrangements awesome, but also being able to perform your own piece is a wonderful, you know, project. So I said, Robin, I think it's time for the Savannah Philharmonic to commission a work for you to write about Savannah, and then we should do the world premiere. So here we are. We have asked that, and then Robin said yes, graciously. And so he has a piece called Homage. Tell us about Homage.
Well, it comes from the idea, so Kay had asked me to write something that had Savannah flavor to it, and I thought about taking 3 different film composers and writing pieces that were in their style. And and originally he said, I said, well, what are you looking for? And he goes, 10 minutes.
I did say that.
I said, oh my goodness, that's so awesome. He did not, the thing is he doesn't micromanage, and I love that. But so we did, so I'd written a fanfare that we had been using for St. Patrick's Day at the cathedral, which I'd always wanted to expand to a full orchestral. And so that's this Celtic fanfare. That's the third movement. The first movement is just a very Bernard Herrmann, Hitchcock kind of vertigo type piece. It's based on a specific scale that Herrmann used quite often. And then the Darkness Declares the Glory of Light. The title comes from Murder at the Cathedral. And it's basically, the idea is that the light of the world is going to overcome the darkness. And that was, we pretty much worked on that during COVID. So this is kind of a, you know, COVID, let's get out of COVID in one piece. So I wanted it to be, it starts off, it's got a repetitive bass, and it starts off kind of dark, and it progressively moves towards positive. And so that's the idea of Darkness Declares the Glory of Light. Just basically saying no matter how dark something is, it only is there to make the light more powerful. Yeah.
One of the things about being a musician, and I do a lot of works for performances of new compositions and composers that are alive, and it's great because oftentimes, us musicians, we tend to perform pieces of dead people, and so if we have a question, we can't just send a text and ask, Mozart, what is this, and then we don't get a response. But with, Robin, I have so many questions that and you'll be at the rehearsals to participate, and then to make the sound of his composition come to life, it's a great process. But what I do want to ask about some of these pieces, the three movements that we have, you decided to do it in a style of three different movie composers. Tell us about these movie composers and how it affects your composition and your life.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think for a pops arranger, you need to draw from the cinematic side of things, and also like the Barbra Streisand-y kind of orchestral arrangers. And so I think I owe a lot to all of them. I've been listening to that music. I tend to watch movies for the for the music over and over. And so Bernard Herrmann, of course, he represents a transition from the early golden age of film, and was much more exploratory. Instruments played in different ways and using different kinds of scales, like what you'll hear in this piece, the octatonic scale, or it's an augmented scale. It's not a major or minor. It has this a very distinct sound to it. So I just wanted to work with that scale a bit and sort of take it for a ride. And then Maurice Jarre, of course, has been, all the way back with, the Witness, for example, is a great example of a film. He uses a lot of synthesizers, but he had a French sound to him, and I love Ravel and Debussy, and so it's kind of homage to them too, really, because I think Jarre was influenced by them, and I'm very many years back French. I mean, I'm very, so I love the French sound, and I wanted to do something like that, and then of course Eric Korngold. I've been teaching a film music class for 23 years. I'm actually finishing up a textbook on the subject, and I played Eric Korngold's music for students many, many years, and I didn't really quite appreciate it as much. I just felt like I had to show it because it was historically important, until I heard these new recordings by the Moscow Symphony, and I couldn't believe it was even the same music. And so then I started doing a search and found that all his music is in the Library of Congress, sitting there waiting to be transcribed. And I found every recording I could, just listen to everything I could possibly, and I suddenly realized this man has influenced John Williams on a massive level, and many other composers. So he's really up there, and I just loved his sort of, the whole pirate swashbuckler thing. So that Celtic fanfare just sort of, lends itself to that. So I thought, let's make a swashbuckler kind of fun thing. And so those are just incredible people who have influenced my style and everybody else who writes our harmonic language and really the way we orchestrate, I think.
How do you compose? Because you see composers that, it's just all in their head, and then once they write it down, it's all there. Or some people play it on the piano to figure things out, or some people are walking in the street and there's a melody that comes up, and then they just kind of sing it and then record it. Like, what is your compositional style?
Yeah, I mean, I think for all of you listeners, if you just took a second and just think your name. You all hear it, right? It's okay to hear sounds in your head. So if you replace words with music and you put that in your head, and I feel like our brain is a gigantic synthesis of ideas. So I think a big part of writing music is listening to music, and listening to good music, at least what I consider good music, and attending to it, not just like wallpaper. I start with an idea. I've been doing more of an arranger and orchestrator, but I'll start with the idea, and I like to think of different variations just on the theme melodically, And then once I get that going, then I like to think about different harmonic implications. I like to reharmonize and create different, I like surprise chords. There's just, every composer has their sort of things they go to, and that's one of the things I like to do. And, you know, just, I work, I think mostly as I'm working, I try to let the piece come to me. There's some people that view, like if you're a sculptor, they view a stone, right, is something that you have to chip off, you know, and make this thing. I feel like the statue is in the stone, and it's just my job to make the right cuts, you know. And so I used to be real theoretical and all that, and I try not to. I just let my ear do it, and I go here. I think it should go here, then I should go here, and then I go back theoretically later and go, that's not really quite working. Why? And I may use theory to help clean it up, but mostly just let it's playful, and let yourself be playful.
It just
with it.
feels more organic because it's how you feel and you're expressing your feeling through music.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because some things in life you can't really explain in theory, but it just sort of happens and feels good.
Right, and I think that's the thing. If you ask somebody how they feel, they can rarely tell you with words exactly how they feel. I think we created music for the purpose of being able to express things that we can't express with words. I think it's a, you know, something that we created that, yeah, I'm saying it again, but that's what, yeah.
I have one final question, which is, for as a composer, you have had many pieces performed live, but that very first time that you hear your composition being performed, maybe at a rehearsal or, you know, what does that feel like?
Well, the first time I did an arrangement was my sophomore year in high school. I did a very pretentious, I did a concert band piece, and just to hear that gigantic amount of people playing, that's never changed.
Okay.
I think I'm an real old school person. I really like what humans do to it. I don't want the machine doing it all. And you know, even if I bring somebody in a recording studio and they say, "What do you want?" I usually say, "I want you to do what you think first," and then usually I don't have anything after they do it, and you know, I gotta say, Kay, that's why working with you is good, because you kind of start that way, and it's easy to write for somebody like that if they're, you know, I don't mind taking critique, and you give someone a fix it, and it usually makes it a lot better, you know. But to me, I want to write for humans, and that's complicated, and that's messy, and so you have to be okay with if they don't do it exactly the way you want. But I think it's never been anything but magical when the humans get a hold of it after I've been playing it in a computer. And so that's why I keep doing it, because it's just a great way to interact with people, and you know.
So on May 6th, Saturday at Lucas Theater, you have the opportunity to hear the world premiere of this commissioned work by Robin Beauchamp, Homage. It is a world premiere, and world premiere only happens once. And so you cannot miss this opportunity, and I hope you're all there to experience the music that is written by a Savannah person about Savannah, and I just can't wait to perform it for everyone.
Good.
So thank you for joining me here on the interview, and hope to see you at the performance. Bye.